Hey everybody, welcome back to Bloodborne Chalice Dungeon Exploration. This is the second episode where we're exploring cummmfpk. I don't know how much longer I'm going to say the cum dungeon because that's kind of gross. Fuck it, I'm going to keep saying it. It's kind of funny. Today we're going to explore the first side area, and then we're going to explore the second layer, and we're going to fight the boss on the second layer. I am doing post-commentary on this because I did commentary over the gameplay, but honestly I was not happy with it, and unfortunately, it kind of made my playing suffer once I got to the boss and a couple more areas. I tried to take out most of the deaths that I had because I don't want a whole lot of death in the video. I want to keep these kind of short, probably a little under 30 minutes, maybe a little over 30 minutes. This is going to be my first death of the run here. I didn't realize that this gun guy was going to fire at me. But if not, I think, yeah, that blade would have hit me anyways, so it would have knocked me off even if that guy hadn't shot me. All in all, in terms of difficulty, I think that this area is about the same as the first side area. Not too much more difficult. Some different enemies that are in here. You got the gun guys. They kind of pose a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of a threat. Just if you can't dodge out of the way of the gun. We're going to take a different route and we're going to go down. There's some more rats down here, so you get to see me be terrible at fighting rats again. I tried to do a little bit more melee type stuff, where I can actually get up closer to the enemies, instead of just using Simon's Bowblade for this. I've run through this dungeon probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, so I'm a little bit more confident playing through it this time. There, you can get some 2 mold 5s from these rats. They don't drop them too much, so it's not really worth farming the actual enemies. And later in the dungeon, you can actually get more 2 mold 5s down on layer 3. And like I said, you get to see me suck at fighting rats again because that was the second death of the run. But it's okay. Right here, I just thought, screw it. I'm going to see if I can lure this guy into the blades. Knock him off the bridge. He just shot at me. Just that whole situation right there kind of makes everything a little bit more difficult. I always find these guys relatively easy to parry. The gun ones, I don't really know how to parry very well, or even if you really can parry them, because I don't think they get their melee weapon out too much when I've ever fought them. I wanted to take a moment again and thank any new subscribers that have come in and watched the last video that I put out and watched the first couple of videos that I had on this dungeon. It's nice to see people commenting and, you know, just kind of talking to me about the dungeon. I really used to hate the Chalice dungeons in general. Just never really found them to be very fun, and then once all these hacked dungeons started coming out and I started playing Bloodborne again, I decided to give them another shot, and I actually really enjoy the Chalice dungeons now. Even some of the main story ones, especially the Defiled Chalice, like going in there and fighting Defiled Amygdala, the Defiled Keeper of the Old Lords. Just some decent challenge. I haven't ever had another Amygdala fight in the Chalice dungeons, I don't think. Unless I'm just forgetting one that might be in the main game. But I don't think I've ever fought Amygdala other than that Defiled Chalice. So I just think it's cool being able to fight him in there with like half health and really only being able to take 1 or 2 hits. And he's strong as shit. Like, anytime I fight him, you know, I'll probably die, like, I don't know, 5 times or so before I get the hang of his patterns again. These rats, though, like, I swear these rats are the bane of my existence. Because there's so many of them, they like swarm around you. Like, if you can't just bring them out one by one, you know, sometimes you can get really screwed. You can get really overwhelmed. It's just a pain, man. And I really need to stop using the Executioner's Glove from like too far away, because I always screw that up. And here all I can think to myself is like, dude, just why didn't you switch to melee? Just switch back to the Holy Blade and take him out in like, you know, 3 or 4 hits. I have no idea why I used a blood vial there. I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls, so two-handing with triangle has been, you know, the main thing for me for about a couple of weeks now, and feels weird to two-hand big weapon like this with L1. Plus, I've been playing Blasphemous lately too, so having L1 be something different in that game, just need to get used to this again, man. So that's pretty much it for that particular area. There's not a whole lot there. Obviously, there's that chest, Ritual Blood 5s. I said it in the first video. This stuff is not worth really coming in here and farming. Like, you're mainly coming in here for the challenge of just not being able to take a hit and getting through it, basically. And of course for the blood echoes that you can get at the very beginning of the level. There's a side area that we're going to explore in a later video. We're just going to go through the main area here, and then we're going to fight the boss. And one of the interesting things, I tried to do it this time, and I ended up cutting it out just because I waited there for a long time. One of the bell ringing women is summoning all the red spiders and like the red hollow guys, or whatever they're called, Thumerians, I think. I'm using Dark Souls terms too much. She summons all these, and if you wait long enough, sometimes they'll just start dying and they'll give you blood echoes. It's not like a whole lot, because I think one gives you only like 4,000 or something. And this is, of course, my third death of the run here. I think I have like one more that I left in the video. I tried to do it, and it didn't really work. They didn't seem to pile up too much. So yeah, maybe if you go through this dungeon and you try that yourself, and I don't know, maybe you can figure out how it's actually supposed to be. You probably just set the controller down for like 30 minutes, come back, and farm some blood echoes. I don't know if it'd be worth your time, but it's still something that can be done, and that's kind of cool. This is where the bell ringing woman is, so you can just take pot shots at her from the thing. I thought there was another door up here, but there's only that one. Which we'll come to that one a little bit later. But the door that we're going to need to go through is down there. And I was kind of scoping it out because there's one of these rooms in later areas of the dungeon, and it actually has like a gargoyle enemy in it, and one of those sorcerers that shoot fire at you. So I wanted to make sure that there was no enemies down there. Yeah, you can get some kin cold bloods here. You can get some great ones cold blood. I think it's what they're called. But yeah, the two highest like cold bloods you can get in certain areas of this dungeon. Not a whole lot of them. I think probably only 3 or 4 of them are here, but you can still get them. Nice little bonus for actually going through the areas. This is that door that's on the other side of that thing. A little shortcut to run back after we grab what's in this room. There's a sage guarding the switch that I didn't even try to fight. Just lured him up here, drop down, grab the switch, and then run the fuck out of there. I have killed him before. They don't typically tend to drop anything. There's like a little chest in the cage here. And oh yeah, I got another death coming up right here. This is weird because I didn't think that this pig would be able to get through this door. But it just clips right through. I can't believe that it just clips right through the door like that. So that was kind of funny. That was one of the more comical deaths for me. These little areas right here, they do really well at hiding these enemies too. There's at least 2 or 3 areas in this entire dungeon where you go through tunnels like this and the enemies are just so dark that you just can't see, you can't lock on. There's one of the Thumerians that's just like sitting down, and like as soon as you walk by him, he gets up and just wrecks you. This is, of course, that room that's underneath that elevator, and it doesn't have anything. There's like rats you can't even see. barely lock on him. Gotta get real close. I actually feel like I could have died a few times in this particular battle right here. Luckily I did not. These tunnels just make camera control just like abysmal. So yep, again, nothing major in this particular area. Whenever I come into this dungeon to fight the bosses, I pretty much just run to the switches, grab those using iframes, and run my way back, go to the boss. But I do come over here and I do kill this pig. And the reason that I do this is because in this particular dungeon, most of the side areas and main areas actually tend to connect with one another. So in this particular area, I don't remember which door and area it connects to, but this is on the layer, I believe this is either the second layer 2 side area or one of the layer 3s. Probably the first layer 3. And down there, there's another pig. There's like a couple guys walking around. I didn't want to go through that at this point in time since it was connected to another area. So we're going to revisit that in the next video as well. And if it's not the next video, it'll be the video that's after that. Crazy enough, this dungeon does tend to make the man-eater boar a little bit of a threat. Just because sometimes I feel like it can be hard to dodge that charge move that he does at the very beginning of the fight. And then of course, he'll do that to you sometimes, and you'll die. So yeah, I died to this a lot. Just because I really did try to parry him a couple times. I tried to just fight him without ranged attacks, without the bow blade, and without the executioner's gloves. And I ended up dying a bunch of times. So I just went ahead and did it with this so that I could get it over with. Probably just because I wasn't playing very well. It was pretty late at night when I was doing this. So I basically just, you know, kind of kite him around the area. At least if you're somebody like me who, you know, really just wants to explore the dungeon, get the blood echoes, have some fun, and you're not, you know, extremely good at parrying, or you're not extremely good at fighting up close and not being able to take hits, then this is a way that you can do it. And it doesn't take very long. It only takes me about 5 minutes to do this. But also at the very end of this video, I actually did a supercut of all the deaths that happened to this boss. Sometimes I'll just run into the room here and he'll hit me with the charge attack and it just knocks me on my ass immediately. So yeah, you can just kind of kite him around these columns, kite him around that statue a little bit until he destroys it. Hit him with ranged attacks over and over again, and eventually you'll just knock him down enough. So that's going to end up doing it for this part of the video and this part of the dungeon. There's about a minute long sequence of clips at the end of the video where I put all the rest of my deaths together, just as a little something fun to do, to show some of the mistakes that I made, some rather silly. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more of this particular series, if you want to see more videos in general, I plan on maybe doing a full Bloodborne playthrough soon, because I haven't done one in a while, so that would be really fun. Stick around, like, comment, subscribe, dislike it if you dislike it, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.